video now. Today's date is Sunday, April 1st, April Fool's Day, 2012. My name is Leslie Williams, and I'm not exactly sure how well you can see me. I'm making this video here at a hiking location of mine. It rained out last night, so I had to get up at 1:30 in the morning and move my camping location. My name is Leslie Williams, and I don't share this. In fact, I don't even think I've shared this in any of my videos because, frankly, I don't care. I don't think that it's anybody's business in reference to what party that I am part of. The last time I voted, registered to vote in California, I registered as a Republican. And that's what I am. I'm basically a conservative, and I lean a little bit towards the independent party because of the fact that I don't believe that the Republican Party is what it used to be in totality that it used to be, like back in the Reagan days and so on and so forth. I'm going to go ahead and make this statement. This is what you call a tidbit file, but it's going to be a good tidbit file. You can go to the internet now. Just bear with me. You can go to the internet and you can type in the ACLU, the Industrial Complex, and what that blog is about. It's about how the United States government is using businesses to surveil Americans. And it's 100% used to surveil targets of what is called organized stalking. And when you hear organized stalking, you might think to yourself, what the hell is that? Or that can't be anything that is... remember back in the... I'm not very good at my history when it comes to other countries, but I think they were called the Red Squads during McMurtreyism, or in another country like Europe when they employed civilian spies. But understand this and be clear. Organized stalking is about organized crime that's in the system. And it doesn't matter what part of the system we're talking about, whether it be on the federal or state level, because it is organized crime in the system, and they don't give two craps about what party you are if you're a target. You can be an independent, an extreme conservative, a Tea Party activist, a Tea Party member. You can be a Democrat, you can be a Republican, what have you. But the reason why I'm making this video file is this, is that what targets go through is just astronomical in reference to what happens to them in their personal lives. And the government is 100% involved in this and protecting it. Now, the reason why I say that, I went through this during the Bush years as well. Okay, so, and this happens to Republicans and Democrats and independents. They don't give two craps about what your political loyalties lie. But the reason why I'm making this is because it does adhere to how the government is infested now in our lives. Because every single time I go in any business that I go into, literally in any state, I am harassed by business employees and business, well, sometimes if I go into a small business, a business owner and business management. Now, I will say this much. When I went into privately owned businesses, like the smaller ones, the ones that are being eaten out by the monopoly that is going on in this country, I can tell, like I'd say at least in 65 to 70% of the business owners' faces, they don't enjoy what they're having to do at all. Okay? Now, there's a thing called the community notification that is set up through the police, and I have a feeling it's also an extension of the federal program. And what that is supposed to be used for is for when violent criminals or sexual predators enter a community, then a community notification is sent out in reference to that particular type of individual entering or possibly applying for residency in that community. And what they do is use this notification purpose in part as a tool, as a literal tool, to notify business members and to notify community groups that a target like me, an innocent woman, a learning disabled woman, is in the community, and and how they're supposed to behave towards me when I enter their business establishment, and when I'm in the general area. And it's all based on slander and lies. And this is done in order to be able to get the business community, employees, and other civic groups and community groups in the community to harass me in specific ways. It's called sensitization when it comes to organized stalking or gang stalking. And I experienced this along all of my routes in every single business I go into. Okay, and this also includes transportation routes and transportation, like places like trolley stations and bus routes, by people that I don't know, and by transportation employees like MTS security, MTS employees, bus drivers. I experience this everywhere I go. And when do I experience? Well, I've already made some videos in reference to what targets are subjected to. It's called audio, which is when the verbal statements and commentary are subjected towards a target along their routes. Statements that are directly personal in reference to a target's own personal life, that a target cannot figure out how these people know it until they become familiar with their methods, tactics, and resources. And visual anchoring, which is nothing but repeated physical gestures that a target is subjected to by people they do not know, including the business community, when they are out in the community along all of their routes. And this is done to make a target feel harassed through overt means. Okay, and what they do is basically anchor in the target's mind through the verbal statements and the verbal commentary, and through the physical gestures that a target is constantly subjected to everywhere they go, including their walking routes on places they're going to back and forth. Now, this is how a target feels stalked. Okay, and this is the organization of the stalking, and this keeps a target feeling constantly harassed and constantly stalked, because they got to know where you're at in order to do it. They got to know where you're going in order to place these people along even your walking routes. They got to know, like, if I think to myself, I'm going to Jack in the Box or Barnes & Nobles or Mission Valley 7 Ultrastar Theater, if I think it and I go there and people are already there standing in line, and as soon as I enter into the establishment, people are standing there with their hands to their face, going like this. This is part of the visual anchoring. Yeah. Okay. Then I order my food, and somebody who's taking my order is doing this, or somebody who's standing like right behind the guy who's taking my order is doing this. Then I go get my food and go to sit down, and somebody that's sitting right next to the table I usually sit at is doing this. I take a bite of my food and look up, and the person that's sitting across from me is doing this. Okay? And how do they know where I'm going in order to get people ahead of me at these places that I'm going to before I even get there? Remote neural monitoring. Thoroughly scrutinize what that is, and you'll come to understand the extreme criminality that's happening towards me. And this is not the only extreme criminality that's happening towards me in my life. I experience this every single day, everywhere I go, and that's not the only thing that I'm subjected to. I'm subjected to what is called scalar projected audible distinguishable signals and the microwave auditory effect. That can be easily understood by going to surveillanceissues.com and listening to and observing the hearing voices feature, and by scrutinizing the microwave auditory effect and electronic harassment laws at Google and YouTube. I'm also subjected to the homelessness that a target has to suffer through because of the gang stalking expeditions had the power positions in the community to influence property owners and landlords to evict a target for them, including stealing their rent that was mailed the United States Postal Service return receipt. I'm going to stop this particular video so I can make sure that it came out right, because through the capabilities that are described in the remote neural monitoring file, they can literally piggyback on the RF filtering of this device and compromise the internal functions so that this recording doesn't even take place. Or they'll interfere with the ability for people to hear what I'm saying by replacing the audio of this video with electronic noise. Yeah, and that's already online that they've done that to particular videos of mine. My name is Leslie Williams. I'm going to stop this video right now to see if it turned out at all, and if it did, to see if there's any electronic interference. I'm making a digital audio file right now of my statements, okay? And we're going to be able to see if this video was actually, if they allowed this video to be made. I'm in San Diego, California, and this is what I experience along all of my routes. So if you look at the ACLU Industrial Complex blog online, we're living in nothing but at least a fascist state where the government is literally using businesses to harass innocent people to break them down. And what is this all about? Human trafficking, Medicare fraud, and the taking over of my monthly Social Security check. My name is Leslie Williams. I went to school for over 12 years with learning disabilities so I could fend for myself and be an independent, responsible individual and not even apply for government aid. I turned a lot of government aid down back in the 90s and in the decade of 2000 because I believed in being responsible as much as I could be with learning disabilities and being disabled. And they're not doing nothing but tearing down my life to try and get a hold of me to take over my Social Security, to exploit my Medicare once I get on it. Once they got it's about guardianship, organized crime, syndicated guardianship that's set up within the system, including the courts. And what they want to do is take over the legal custody of my Social Security check, exploit my Medicare, and then exploit me sexually in syndicated run group homes. Google 4 mentally disabled individuals kept in a basement for 12 years. Same type of syndicate. The San Diego police are directly and physically involved in the expedition of this crime, and so is the San Diego Fire Department. I'm not saying just involved in the protection of it or the cover-up of it. I'm saying they're directly involved in it. My name is Leslie Williams. Alright, now I'm going to stop the video to see if it kept.